Top-level orders have been signed. Your potential alarmed them. Only you could make this happen. There are some orders ready about you, and these orders are coming from a top high-profile meeting. And about you, following these orders is their biggest problem. Because if they do not follow these top orders, then their death will happen because of you. Because you are researching the life of common people, top commanders and political members are included in this meeting. This is not a common meeting. This meeting is of top high authorities. In this meeting, the people present are not common people. These are dark web people who bring something or the other every day, and they call common people aliens. But this is not like that. They themselves are from the alien community and want to take their community to the next level. That is why they use common people for their benefit and use common people like scapegoats. This high authorities community is in danger because for their community to live, they need something. Whether it is the human body or dark community, people are used, and common people's thinking power and progress is very strong. That is why dark community people are making some secret deals with top authorities, and common people are being used as feed for dark people. But this is not true because they are afraid of us, because we are unstoppable and we can do this. Before we dive into this, pause this video and do 3 things. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 20,000 subscribers, and leave a comment, Mr. Ledger. If you stay focused and watch until the end, your life will never be the same. Power never watches loud people. It watches the quiet ones, the ones who don't seek attention, but somehow keep rising. The moment systems start observing you more closely, it's not because you are weak. It's because you are unpredictable. You don't move the way they expect. You don't think inside the boxes they designed. That alone makes you dangerous. When authority watches you, it means you've crossed an invisible line. You've stopped being just another face in the crowd. You've started asking questions most people are too tired or afraid to ask. You're learning patterns, connecting dots, understanding how things really work. And power hates nothing more than someone who understands the game without asking permission. This isn't paranoia, it's reality. Every system monitors emerging thinkers, not because they want to help them, but because they want to measure how much damage those minds could cause if left uncontrolled. If you feel watched, it's because your growth has become impossible to ignore. Important decisions are never made in public. They're made behind closed doors where titles outweigh truth and comfort outweigh progress. And when those doors close, they talk about people like you, not by name, but by potential. Potential to disrupt, potential to expose flaws, potential to refuse control. You don't need authority to recognize your value. Systems sense it instinctively. They discuss whether you can be guided, distracted, slowed down, or silenced. Because once someone reaches a certain level of mental independence, they stop responding to fear-based control. The fact that decisions are being made about people like you means one thing: you matter more than you realize. No one wastes time planning around someone insignificant. Potential is threatening when it can't be owned. Independent thinkers don't need permission. That's the problem. Systems are built on predictability, on people following scripts, rules, timelines. The moment someone starts thinking independently, the entire structure begins to shake. You can't control someone who questions instructions. You can't manipulate someone who studies consequences. Independent thinkers don't rebel loudly. They move strategically. They comply when it benefits them and resist when it doesn't. That flexibility is terrifying to rigid systems. History proves this again and again. Every major shift began with individuals who thought differently, not emotionally, logically, not impulsively, deliberately. And those individuals were always labeled dangerous before they were proven right. Fear at the top doesn't look like panic. It looks like policies. It looks like restrictions. It looks like quiet pressure and subtle threats. When powerful people are afraid, they don't shout. They tighten control. Real fear shows itself through increased monitoring, stricter rules, and sudden resistance to change. It's the fear of losing dominance, not survival. Because once people start thinking clearly, authority loses its strongest weapon, ignorance. If you notice resistance every time you grow smarter, sharper, more disciplined, understand this fear has already acknowledged your strength. Silence from power doesn't mean safety. It means preparation. Control is easy when people don't understand their own value. That's why systems invest so much energy into distraction. Noise keeps people busy. Confusion keeps them dependent. Ignorance keeps them obedient. The moment someone learns how things really work, money, influence, psychology, structure, control weakens. You don't need rebellion to break chains. You need understanding. Knowledge removes fear, and without fear, control collapses. That's why learning is discouraged when it goes beyond surface level. Because informed individuals don't need supervision. They become self-directed, and that's unacceptable to systems built on dependency. Someone who studies everything doesn't rush. They observe. They listen more than they speak. They learn from mistakes, both their own and others. That makes them dangerous, not because they want conflict, but because they avoid unnecessary losses. A person who studies everything sees patterns others miss. They recognize manipulation early. They understand timing. And they know when to move and when to stay silent. That kind of intelligence can't be controlled with threats. Systems fear people who don't act emotionally, because emotional people can be provoked. Strategic people cannot. Knowledge creates patience, and patience creates power. There is no such thing as ordinary. There are only people who haven't realized their capacity yet. Most are buried under routine, responsibility, and exhaustion. But when someone wakes up mentally, the label disappears. Ordinary people built civilizations. They created revolutions. They changed industries, not because they were special, but because they became aware. Awareness turns potential into force. If you feel different, it's not because you're above others. It's because you're choosing growth over comfort. And that choice separates you faster than talent ever could. Systems don't collapse from violence. They collapse from awareness. When people understand how they're being used, the system loses legitimacy. Obedience fades. Compliance slows. Efficiency drops. Awakened minds don't destroy systems. They outgrow them. And that's far more dangerous, because once enough people outgrow a system, it becomes irrelevant. This is why education that encourages critical thinking is often restricted. Because once minds awaken, control becomes optional, and optional control is no control at all. Using people as tools is not new. It's one of the oldest strategies in history. Labor, influence, sacrifice, all was demanded from the many to protect the few. What changes is how subtly it's done. Today, people are used through pressure, debt, dependency, and distraction. They're kept busy surviving, so they never have time to question why survival feels so hard. But once someone sees this pattern, they can't unsee it. And a person who can't be used becomes a problem for systems built on exploitation. Awareness doesn't shout. It doesn't argue. It simply changes behavior. And that's why it's disruptive. When people become aware, they stop reacting and start choosing. Aware individuals don't chase validation. They don't panic under pressure. They don't follow crowds blindly. They calculate. And calculated individuals don't fit into chaotic systems. Nothing disrupts control more effectively than calm, informed decision-making. That's real power. and it doesn't need permission. Progress exposes inefficiency. It reveals outdated methods. It threatens comfort. Those in power fear progress not because it's dangerous, but because it's uncontrollable. Progress doesn't ask for approval. It happens whether authority is ready or not. And once people see better options, they don't accept old limitations. That's why resistance always appears disguised as protection or stability. But real progress doesn't destroy stability. It replaces false stability with real growth. Orders can stop actions. They cannot stop thinking. Growth continues silently, even under pressure, even under surveillance, especially under resistance. When orders fail, systems panic. Because growth that continues despite opposition proves independence, and independence can't be negotiated with threats. If you keep growing despite obstacles, understand this: you've already won the most important battle, the one over your mind. Nothing threatens power more than someone who can't be bought. No bribes, no promises, no fear, just principles and strategy. People who cannot be bought don't rush decisions. They don't sacrifice long-term goals for short-term comfort. That integrity creates influence without authority. Systems rely on incentives to control behavior. Remove that leverage, and you remove their advantage. Silence keeps you underestimated. Discipline keeps you consistent. Intelligence keeps you adaptable. Together, they form an unstoppable combination. Loud people attract attention. Silent people attract results. Discipline allows progress when motivation fails. Intelligence ensures progress goes in the right direction. These aren't dramatic weapons. They're subtle, and that's why they work. No system can fight what it cannot predict. You become untouchable not through aggression, but through mastery. Mastery of yourself, your emotions, your decisions, your time. Knowledge removes dependence. Control removes vulnerability. Together, they create freedom that doesn't need validation. And when you reach that point, power stops trying to control you and starts trying to understand you, because you're no longer part of the system. You're operating above it. At some point, you understand that life isn't just about surviving day to day. It's about positioning, about seeing the board while others are stuck staring at a single square. This realization changes everything. You stop reacting emotionally and start moving intentionally. Most people never realize they're in a system designed to keep them busy, tired, and distracted. But once you see it, you can't go back. You begin to notice how effort is rewarded selectively, and how obedience is often mistaken for loyalty. This awareness doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you careful. You stop wasting energy on meaningless battles and focus on moves that actually change your future. Chaos exposes weakness. Loud reactions, impulsive decisions, emotional responses. These are liabilities when pressure rises. Calm people, however, think clearly when others panic. Staying calm doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to think before acting. In environments full of noise, calm becomes a competitive advantage. People trust those who don't lose control. History shows this repeatedly. Leaders who stayed composed during crisis outperformed those driven by emotion. Calm isn't passive, it's powerful. Explaining yourself endlessly is a form of permission-seeking. The day you stop doing that is the day your confidence becomes visible. You realize that results speak louder than words. People who doubt you don't need explanations. They need time. Time to watch you succeed without their approval. Silence becomes your strongest response. When you stop explaining, you reclaim energy. That energy goes into execution, growth, and strategy, instead of convincing people who are never going to support you anyway. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline shows up even when you don't feel like it. The most successful people aren't always inspired. They're consistent. They act even when it's boring, uncomfortable, or slow. That consistency compounds into dominance. Discipline builds trust with yourself. And once you trust yourself, hesitation disappears. You move faster because you no longer argue with your own mind. Outgrowing people is uncomfortable. Conversations feel shallow. Goals feel misaligned. You start realizing that staying means shrinking. This doesn't mean others are wrong. It means you're changing. Growth demands new environments, new standards, and sometimes new loneliness. Leaving the room isn't betrayal. It's self-respect. Staying where you no longer belong costs more than walking away. Manipulation works on emotional predictability. Once you control your reactions, manipulation fails. You become difficult to provoke, pressure, or rush. Being hard to manipulate doesn't make you cold. It makes you grounded. You listen more, react less, and choose carefully. Systems and people alike lose interest in controlling those they can't influence emotionally. Emotional control equals strategic freedom. Most people trade long-term success for short-term comfort. They choose ease now and struggle later. Long-term thinkers reverse that equation. Thinking long-term means sacrificing applause today for stability tomorrow. It means building skills quietly while others chase attention. This mindset isn't popular, but it's rare, and rarity creates advantage. Announcing plans feels productive, but it often replaces action. Real builders move quietly, letting results speak. When you stop announcing, you avoid interference, doubt, and unnecessary opinions. Focus deepens, execution improves, silence protects momentum, and momentum is fragile. Guard it carefully. Emotional control isn't suppression, it's regulation. You still feel, but you don't let feelings dictate decisions. This skill separates professionals from amateurs. Under pressure, emotionally controlled people perform while others collapse. Mastering this makes you reliable, and reliability attracts opportunities that talent alone never will. Validation is addictive. Applause feels good, but it fades quickly. Growth lasts longer. When you stop chasing validation, you start respecting your own standards. That internal approval becomes enough. Ironically, the moment you stop seeking approval is often when respect starts coming naturally. Leverage is about maximizing impact with minimal effort. It's intelligence applied to effort. Hard work matters, but smart work multiplies it. Leverage comes from skills, knowledge, timing, and positioning. Once you understand leverage, you stop exhausting yourself and start optimizing results. Rush decisions often come from fear. Fear of missing out, fear of falling behind. Patience removes that fear. You learn that not every opportunity deserves a yes. Some deserve observation. Some deserve silence. Slowing down your decisions speeds up your long-term success. Early on, people try to prove themselves. Later, they focus on building something undeniable. Proving is emotional. Building is practical. Builders don't argue, they construct. Once you start building, opinions lose importance. Structure replaces noise. Energy is finite. Attention is currency. You stop wasting both on people, arguments, and situations that don't move you forward. Protecting energy isn't selfish, it's strategic. Burnout helps no one. Focused energy creates momentum. Scattered energy creates exhaustion. Taking full responsibility changes everything. You stop blaming circumstances, people, or systems and start analyzing how you can control outcomes. Growth begins the instant excuses end. When you own your actions completely, every mistake becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes an opportunity. Responsibility isn't about being harsh on yourself. It's about clarity. When you see where you truly stand, you understand what must be done. Others may avoid responsibility because it's uncomfortable, but you realize discomfort is the price of real progress. Those who embrace responsibility consistently outperform those who dodge it. You stop waiting for external validation and start building results that speak for themselves. Power, influence, and respect always follow those who refuse to hide behind excuses. Talent can open doors, but consistency keeps them open. A person with average ability but unrelenting consistency outperforms the most gifted people who work sporadically. It's the daily effort, the small decisions, and the repeated actions that compound into unstoppable momentum. Consistency is often invisible in the short term, which is why people undervalue it. But systems and opportunities eventually recognize it. The person who shows up every day, even when it's hard, creates trust, reliability, and results that cannot be ignored. This is why champions exist quietly, while others chase recognition. Talent fades without action, but consistent effort builds long-term dominance. Commit to your routine, your craft, and your goals, and you will outlast everyone who relies on talent alone. Impatience is the enemy of progress. People rush decisions, relationships, and projects, thinking speed equals success. Strategic patience is different. It's the art of waiting with purpose, observing and planning while others react impulsively. Patience allows you to see patterns, evaluate risks, and time your actions for maximum impact. While others burn out chasing quick wins, you are preparing for long-term victories that last. Patience is never passive. It's deliberate, intentional, and powerful. History is filled with examples. Those who waited for the right moment achieved monumental results, while the impatient acted prematurely and faltered. Learn to value timing over impulse, because the right move at the right moment changes everything. The world moves too fast for anyone to stop learning. Each day presents new challenges, new technologies, and new ways to excel or fall behind. Lifelong learners are the ones who remain relevant, adaptable, and ahead of the competition. Learning isn't just collecting facts. It's understanding patterns, human behavior, and systems. It's applying knowledge in ways that create advantage. The person who studies relentlessly gains foresight, insight, and perspective that most will never reach. Commitment to learning transforms mindset. It cultivates humility, curiosity, and resilience. The moment you stop learning, you start shrinking. So keep absorbing, analyzing, and improving relentlessly. Seeking permission slows growth. Waiting for approval limits your potential and keeps you tethered to other people's agendas. The moment you act without asking for validation is the moment you reclaim control of your life. People who take initiative become leaders, not followers. They define their own rules, create their own opportunities, and move faster than anyone who waits for someone else's nod. Boldness is magnetic. Action inspires respect. Success favors those who act decisively. Waiting for permission delays outcomes, risks momentum, and invites doubt. When you move independently, the world adjusts to you, not the other way around. Actions speak louder than words. Talking about plans, ideas, or goals might make you feel productive, but silent action produces results. Those who act quietly focus on execution, while others get lost in noise. Silent action also protects your energy. Every plan broadcasted invites criticism, sabotage, or distraction. By keeping your work under wraps, you conserve focus and build results before anyone can interfere. The most influential people often work in silence. Let your results do the talking. Momentum and success are far more convincing than promises, explanations, or excuses. Life is unpredictable. Circumstances, people, and opportunities change constantly. Adaptability isn't just survival. It's a competitive advantage. Those who pivot quickly, learn fast, and adjust strategies dominate their environments. Rigid plans break under pressure. Flexible plans survive and thrive. The adaptable individual reads situations, assesses risk, and responds with precision. This ability to flow through challenges creates a sense of control that others envy. Adaptability also inspires confidence. People naturally follow those who remain steady, yet flexible. You become a force that others rely on, even when chaos surrounds them. Mental toughness is more valuable than talent, education, or connections. It's the ability to persevere, endure setbacks, and keep moving when others give up. Toughness allows you to face challenges without hesitation and push beyond limits. Setbacks are inevitable, but mental toughness transforms them into stepping stones. The mind trained to endure will always find solutions, create opportunities, and recover faster than those who crumble under pressure. Every great achievement in history was first conquered in the mind. Strengthen your mental resilience, and you'll find that obstacles lose their power over you. Intentions are easy, action is hard. Anyone can say they will do something, but only the few who act consistently achieve results. Words without action are empty, while action generates momentum, experience, and credibility. Acting also builds confidence. Each completed task reinforces self-trust, demonstrating that you can rely on yourself. Momentum compounds with action, while hesitation only delays results. Success is rarely waiting for permission. It's forged by those who act decisively. Start today, act deliberately, and watch as small steps lead to extraordinary outcomes. Courage isn't a momentary feeling, it's a habit. It's choosing action over fear repeatedly until boldness becomes natural. The courageous don't need external reassurance. They act because they understand the stakes. Habitual courage transforms lives. You stop avoiding difficult decisions, confront challenges head-on, and create opportunities where others see obstacles. Courage is not absence of fear, it's mastery of it. By practicing courage daily, you become unstoppable. Fear no longer dictates your choices, and risks become opportunities for growth instead of reasons to retreat. Energy is finite, attention is valuable, and focus is rare. People scatter their energy across distractions, social validation, and meaningless tasks. Focused energy, however, produces results far beyond ordinary effort. Concentration allows deep work. It creates skill, speed, and precision that multitasking can't replicate. Those who control their energy dominate their outcomes, while others struggle to keep pace. Protect your focus as fiercely as your time. Focused energy isn't just productivity. It's a magnet for opportunity, influence, and results. Overnight success is a myth. True success comes from relentless work when no one is watching. Outworking others silently builds competence, endurance, and results without the drama of attention-seeking. The people who appear lucky are usually the ones who have outworked far beyond the spotlight. They master skills quietly, grind consistently, and execute flawlessly. When you outwork everyone, you create a foundation of excellence that cannot be ignored. Results speak louder than any hype or chatter. Prioritizing yourself isn't selfish, it's smart. When you invest in your skills, mindset, and health, you strengthen the foundation for everything else in life. Without it, no achievement lasts. Strategic self-prioritization means saying no to distractions, negative influences, and energy drains. It means protecting your resources to focus on what matters most. When you put yourself first in strategy and preparation, you naturally inspire others to respect your boundaries, decisions, and leadership. Challenges test limits, reveal weaknesses, and push boundaries. While many avoid difficulty, the most successful people embrace it. Every problem carries a lesson. Every obstacle carries opportunity. The difference lies in perspective. Those who see challenges as setbacks stagnate. Those who see challenges as fuel accelerate. Learning from adversity transforms trials into tools for growth. Embracing challenges cultivates resilience, wisdom, and confidence. Life becomes less about luck and more about deliberate mastery over circumstance. True influence comes when you stop following and start setting standards. People measure themselves against you, not the other way around. You define excellence, discipline, and performance in ways others aspire to emulate. Becoming the standard requires consistency, mastery, and courage. It demands visible results and invisible